أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Umair. There's not much of an introduction to give, but all I'll say is that I'm a very basic student of the Quran. I fell in love with the Quran about 3-4 years ago, and this was once that I took it as a challenge upon myself to read the Quran in English because I couldn't understand Arabic. Okay, and I just wanted to make an attempt to see what the hype is about. Okay, why is it called a miracle of Allah? Okay, and if it is a miracle of Allah, what's it doing on my bookshelf and catching dust? As a teenager, I grew up attracted to the Western culture and the Western lifestyle, and my dreams and my goals were accordingly. One of my keen hobbies as a teenager was watching films. I had a keen interest in knowledge, so reading about science, reading about history, reading about literature, and reading books and writing as well. That was one of my hobbies as a youngster. So I loved reading. So I used to read fantasy books, books on history, books on science, like I said. And this keen interest once got me to a stage where I don't know how the thought came to my head. I said to myself, why don't I try to read Quran? Okay. When I shared this thought with my family members, I got a very strange answer. I was told that you're not going to be able to understand Quran. And for me, okay, I'm being put into a challenge, which I love. I love challenges. And the second thing, I was told that you need a scholar to understand the Quran. Okay. And I was like, okay, so which scholar should I listen or follow? And they're like, we don't know, because we haven't understood the Quran. We read it as a kid as Arabic, so like a misconception that we non-Arabs have developed, that teach your children to recite the Quran in Arabic. They read it in Arabic as kids. Well, Quran being an ocean of wisdom is being read by a kid in Arabic without being understood. Eternal message of Allah is not being understood and is just being recited. Okay, so we fulfill a formality and a duty upon ourselves. May Allah give us ajr for that as well, but the main meaning is to understand the Quran. Okay, and then I found out that the Quran was revealed to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who, being a very wise person, was by the will of Allah unlettered, meaning he could not read or write, and he lived amongst the people who were, well, barbarics, Arabs, Bedouins, living in the midst of a desert, surrounded by huge civilizations like the Byzantines, like the Romans, like the Persians, the Greeks. And these civilizations were enriched with knowledge, with philosophy. And Allah Ta'ala decided to reveal the Quran on this ill-rich nation, the Arabs. And the first commandment Allah Ta'ala gave to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first verse he revealed was, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. You guys know how the story goes, so I hope you do, but in this video I wouldn't be repeating it. That would be for another time, if Allah wills, inshallah. The message is, okay, cutting the story short, I said, you know what, I'm not going to listen to anyone, because that's how I am. If I want to do something, I'll do it. I'm not going to listen to you. I researched a bit, see, okay, because there are plenty of translations of the Quran, and some of them are quite complicated, like in Shakespearean style, so I wanted something easy for me to read. So I went and bought this copy of the Quran. This one, I still use it. It's by M.S. Abdul Halim. Very beautiful translation, very acknowledged translation, and very simple English. Okay, it took me 1 year to read the first time. Well, first time I read the translation, it took me 1 year. How and why? It's because it was very complicated for me. And I was like, oh, wow, what have I got myself into? Wherever I was reading, most of the stuff was just going over my head. Fortunately for me, my mother had told me the stories of the prophets, and I had read about the prophets. So whenever Allah talked about prophets in the Quran, I kind of knew what was happening, but the context changed quite radically. Okay, and as you all know, the Quran is not in chronological order, meaning it's not like it's set pattern or set chapters. The context changes. Okay, it might seem to us on the surface that it's unrelated, but it is. Everything's okay. That's for another time, an advanced time. But when you read for the first time the Quran, you everything's going to seem unconnected to you. Okay, but it's going to be upon you to join the dots. Okay, what I want you to do is keep in mind one thing. These few verses I'm going to share that I've already shared on my Facebook page and my Instagram, but I'm going to share them again with you. They tell us that the Quran is complicated, but look what Allah says. وَلَقَدْ يَسْرَنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have made the Quran easy for remembrance. Is there anyone who will make effort? Okay. Verse 1. Another verse from Surah Rahman. Al-Rahman allama al-Quran. The most merciful has taught you the Quran. Okay. So guys, point is, Allah Ta'ala is your teacher. Okay. The scholars and everyone are important, but first and foremost, you need to go to the primary source, the book yourself. You need to have faith in Allah. You need to have the desire to seek, to find out, and Allah will open the doors of guidance to you. Okay. So Quran will give you questions. Okay. You will go to the Quran. Quran will send you out. All right. Go do your research. Go find out. Okay. Meaning it says, Allah Ta'ala say, have you seen the skies, the seven skies we made on top of each other? And go look at the skies, like in Surah Mulk, Allah says, go look at your skies. Can you see any cracks? Okay, can you see any defect in my creation? So Allah tells you to look at His creation. Or when Allah talks about history, in like Surah Kahf, Allah talks about the people of the cave. He says, did you think that the companions of the cave and the inscription were a wonder amongst our signs? Okay, and then the story of the people of the cave starts. I hope any of you know. It's a very, very beautiful story. But Allah gives a very brief summary, and the rest is for us to find out. So stuff like that. So Quran is an institute. It has scientific phenomena, historical phenomenon, mathematical phenomenon, literature phenomenon, philosophy. Allah Ta'ala talks to you directly Himself, tells you the seed of the prophets in there, the stories of the prophet are in there. It's an amazing book, and trust me, it will take you a lifetime, and you still cannot comprehend the knowledge that the Quran contains. But the Quran will give you specific knowledge that will help you in every stage of your life. The Quran will relate to each person according to their situation. That's how beautiful the book is. It cannot be explained. It has to be experienced. Okay. 3 things that will help you to understand the Quran. Read the story, lifestyle, the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the events that took place in his life, because they occur in the Quran. Read about the 25 prophets mentioned in the Quran, the stories from Adam to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Adam alayhi salam to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And then whenever Allah talks about anything like science or history or events, go research on it. Stop there. That's when you go to the scholar and say, okay, tell me what this verse means. Point me out hadiths that can help me. Okay, or just go on the internet, search, compare, look at different scholars. And when you look at a scholar, please, whatever information you're getting, confirm it. Are they giving you references from the Quran? If they're quoting hadith, is that a Sahih hadith? Okay. So keeping the video short, this would be all for today. If this benefited you in any way or any form, please share it with your family or friends. Sadqa Jariyah, to share knowledge. And if I've made any mistakes, may Allah forgive me, may Allah guide me, may Allah guide us all and keep us on the straight path and make us the people of the Quran, make us true Muslims and give us the ability to build a relationship with Allah and His book. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Take care of yourself.